Hello and welcome to the Path of True Love readings for the sign of Cancer. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs in Cancer for the month of July 2019. This is now my fourth one that I've done. I'm trying to get them all done before I leave for Gay Pride New York City in a day or two. Thankfully, I'm self-employed, so I can juggle that a little bit, which is very Cancerian. So I'm really looking forward to this one because I have a very interesting connection to the sign of Cancer, though I have no planets in the sign of Cancer in my natal chart because I am a Leo rising. It is in my 12th house. So it is a very strong, mystical, hidden kind of thing going on there. Plus my mom is a Cancer. I've always had Cancerians in my life, particularly Cancerian women. I might have dated some Cancerian men, but sometimes we didn't get around to what their signs were. I can't even remember their names, right? Oh, the 90s. So that being said, let's dive in here. So if this is your first time watching me, I kind of am doing this, explaining the 3 decks that I'm working with for these. I'm only going to do this for these first 12, and then hopefully people will catch on. So I'm tuning myself to 3 different levels of guidance, or if you like, 3 different channels of guidance. I'm a little iffy using that word channel, unless we're talking like, you know, TV channel or radio channel, right? So I can tune to different levels of power, I guess you could say. One is the Angels, which is the deck that I'm using, Doreen Virtue's kitty cat running up the stair oracle. Yeah. Doreen Virtue's Healing Angels oracles. So that is me getting more celestial, broad stroke information, as angel cards usually do, regardless of form. Then you see I have my gods. I am my Hellenic gods and goddesses. See, this is my connection with the sign of Cancer in particular. My pantheon of gods that I work with, and by the way, I'm a witch. I haven't caught that yet. And I'm gay, if you haven't caught that yet either. You really need to check your pendulum. My pantheon of gods sit in a pantheon, a circle of 12 thrones, each a different sign of the zodiac. And the goddess Hera sits in the sign of Cancer. So my relationship to her, of course, my mother being a Cancer and always having a Cancerian female in my life at some point, lifetime case of crabs, you could say, I am inextricably, or perhaps completely explainably, drawn to selenite, right? Selenite of the moon. And of course, Cancer being the moon sign. So when I do these readings, I have these 3 decks, and they sit on 3 pieces of separate pieces of selenite. So this is Daughters of the Moon by Fiona Morgan. So she sits right in the center there. And selenite's a magnificent stone. It does not need purification because it is a purifier. Citrine does that too, but try and find a slab of citrine that big. Not gonna happen. So then my third are my masters. Now, I've been saying a couple of times today in these videos that the phrase ascended master doesn't thrill me, just because of my experience of reading about them and channeled stuff throughout the crazy 80s and new age 90s, a little turned off to that stuff at this point at age 50. So to find them appearing in my experience and in my life again, the approach is just really different. Now you may hear some meowing going on. That is my youngest son, Melchior, who sometimes forgets where he is in the house, I think. So I have to go like this, so that he'll find where I am. I mean, we don't have that many rooms here. Yep, there he is. Witch cat, hey buddy, here I am. Chill out. Because I'm mama, you see. I have the divine feminine in me in spades. So you could probably guess why I resonate to the Cancerian vibe and the divine mother energy. Though in my archetypal pantheon, she's the queen. And if you meet my mother, by the way, I call my mother Hera. It's not her literal birth certificate name, mind you, a pseudonym, but she really is. Her and my stepfather are so Hera and Zeus. It's ridiculous. And once you meet them, you're like, right on, archetypal vision, but that's another story. So this is the deck that I communicate with or get messages through, guidance and grace through from the Ascended Masters, though I'm not thrilled with that phrase, as I said. And this is Chuck Spezzano's Love Pack. I've had this forever. It's a rather thick deck. And though you think, oh, the Love Pack, I can feel the witches out there, particularly the Cancerians go, oh, how fluffy bunny. There are some serious cards in this deck that I affectionately refer to as the Womp Womp cards. They will read you for filth, as an Ascended Master will. Keep in mind, the Ascended Masters all graduated from Earth School, so they know the nitty and the gritty of what we go through in human bodies. So shall we? Before, when I was on my break, I take breaks while the previous video is either converting or uploading. So, do stuff, I putz around the house, I get stuff done. But I always take like a good 10 minutes before I do this to tune in to the prevailing energies of what I'm about to do. I mean, always, this is only my 4th time doing it. But to be honest, even when I have a client, I start the night before, not necessarily tuning into them, but spiritual practice and self-care and stuff like that. So this is a bit of a marathon that way. But when I was just outside before, smoking a blessing butt out on my deck, I tuned to the goddess Hera. And I think we're in for a very, very interesting read. So let's start with my angels here. Angels, can you please give me an indication of the path of true love for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the month of July 2019. Month of July 2019, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs on the path of true love. Here we go. Divine guidance. Now, the thing is, the word divine guidance was just in the prayers that I did outside, nary 10 minutes ago. Interesting place to start. Let's see. They're telling me to lay all these down first, so usually I would go into that, but they're saying keep this one moving. All right, my gods. My goddess, my queen, would you please give us some insight, a hint, a glimpse into the path of true love for the month of July 2019 for the Cancerian Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, who would be magnetically drawn to this, even if they're cross-watchers. And yes, I know what a cross-watcher is. Look it up. Oh, my goddess, I feel you. Oh, yes, my queen. Cut and take the top. Thank you. Compassion, right? 6 of Cups, and I know we're all used to thinking of 6 of Cups as, nostalgia. Look, I trained myself how to read on the Rider-Waite deck. But that's why I love a different interpretation. I really, really do. And to think of the compassionate aspect, the emotional healing aspect of the 6 of Cups definitely evokes the feelings of nostalgia, but it's something that you can actually participate in right now because compassion is ongoing. Ask the Dalai Lama. He's so cute. I love the Dalai Lama. So when I say everybody's got emotional baggage, I always say, well, except maybe the Dalai Lama. He is, after all, the Dalai Lama. So I'm just going to give these a little reshuffle and put them back in their holster as now we go to our masters. Because already, look, we've got divine guidance with compassion, which, could portend a rough month on the path of true love. But let's have a look, see. Okay, my masters. Oh, there you are. Well, one master in particular. Would you please give us a card, a sign, an indication of the path of true love? She's saying, slow down, baby. Whew. Maybe that's part of the reading too. Slow down, baby. Please give us an indication, a sign, a hint for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and or Venus on the path of true love for the month of July 2019. 19. If you can't see it, it's the card of true love. Now I get why they wanted me to lay them all out first. Holy crapapple. Okay. Phew. Take a breath. That's a lot. Okay. Let me tune into this one. So our first card down that we've got here is divine guidance. So the angels are saying in this larger, picture that this divine guidance isn't just happening for the month of July. This guidance has been going on for not just years, lifetimes. That this particular Cancerian energy I'm tuning into here in the collective, this is literally a path of true love situation. All right. But with just those three cards in here, I'll show you exactly what I mean, right? So you've got divine guidance, right? Here we go. Divine guidance, compassion. I always do that. I have to learn how to do that. Yeah, there we go. And true love. So it's how you're being divinely guided to a compassionate true love. Okay. There's so much more to that in these three cards. Empathy for fun and profit. This could totally mean on one level, and this might be true for some people working, that you're being guided into self-compassion, right? That, well, if you want to go there, the goddess Hera is saying, stay home, heal, self-care, love what rises, have compassion. Compassion is really something that we give to people that we love. But for some reason, we withhold it from ourselves a lot because we think we should be doing better in things. Or if we fucked up, made a mistake, that, oh, we should have done better, we should have done better. But the truth of the matter is that everybody is doing the best that they can. That's not new. We all know that. Even if we have never heard these words before. Deep down inside, we know that everybody is doing the best that they can with the level of consciousness that they're at, and that, some of us aren't on the same level of consciousness from hour to hour, let alone day to day. That, what is compassion? Holding a vision for somebody of truth, that you're doing the best that you can. And the big one here, if, and I'm saying if when I know it's not an if there is a divine plan in play, you couldn't have played it any other way, so you've never done anything wrong. From the God's point of view, I know that may sound heretical even to pagans, but if they're writing the script and we're fulfilling our roles to the best of our ability, even when we don't know that there's a script, like for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, this tends to be the lifetime where we discover on some micro mass level that there is a divine plan in play outside of traditional religious structure. That it may be quantum in nature, or perhaps the quantum web is a manifestation of that divine plan. I'm sorry, as powerful as I am, I'm not powerful enough to fuck up the divine plan on that level at all. In fact, anything I do is just part of the divine plan then, because there's a total workaround, like an immune system, that there is a learning curve. Learning curve. Isn't that a wonderful, compassionate word? Oh my God, I'm in a learning curve. That when you really look from a higher place, look from the point of view, from the mountaintops of Olympus, as she says, you will see that you're all playing your roles in perfect ways that you cannot comprehend. And there is nothing but love for us from everything higher than the fourth dimension. Snap. Would you like me to elucidate? I think we should. Angels, can we look at what that divine guidance card is about? I mean, it really kind of looks like it's about compassion and true love, but otherwise it would be such a fast reading. Why? Well, let's look. Plus, they're giving me the nudge. Pull another. All right. So, can we get a clarifier on that card of divine guidance? Here we go. Study. This card just came up in a previous reading. When we're looking at the study card there, it's saying that you are really learning about divine guidance and that it has always been in play. And that part of the divine guidance is about the fulfillment of your highly individualized curriculum. Now, that phrase I got from A Course in Miracles, and it sings to the teacher in me like celestial tones, right? Highly individualized curriculum. The beginning of the Course in Miracles in the introduction, it says that free will does not mean that you get to choose the curriculum. It only means that you get to choose what you want to take in the curriculum at a given time. And that's a paraphrase. I'm a perpetual paraphraser. So know that, you know, the divine guidance that you're getting is most likely about the lessons that you are learning right now. When is it ever not? But to say that, then again, like I said before, learning curve. There is a learning curve here. So there's a big opportunity to let yourself off the hook. Cancerian, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, because you're doing the best that you can. And it's a learning curve, and nobody gets it right all the time. And even when they get it wrong, they don't really get it wrong. It's part of the divine plan. And sometimes you just don't see that until later. Sometimes you don't see it at all. But sometimes when you're at an altitude high enough, like from the top of Olympus, you look back at your mistakes and say, oh, those mistakes were perfectly choreographed to get me here. Let's have a look at that tarot card for compassion, shall we? Now, it's funny because I'm saying my gods, but there's one goddess in particular, goddess of marriage, by the way, riding my crown chakra. Where else would she be but the crown chakra? By the way, you might say, wow, he wears a lot of jewelry. Each one of these are a different totem of a different god or goddess, right? So here's Hera. It's a Liberty coin that was made into a ring that I got in Brooklyn last summer at a street fair with my dear friend. We had a lovely, lovely, lovely time, and so it was sort of a birthday gift. Oh, and by the way, every year at Yule, winter solstice, it sounds like I choose a god and a goddess for my patron and matron of the year. So an annual matron and annual patron to deepen the relationship mystically, as well as develop their own energies within my own field. This year, I took Hera and Hades, Queen of Heaven, King of Hell. I have a good range. She has range that way. All right, so my queen. Let's not get around. Hera, I love you so much. My queen, with all respect I ask, and with all dignity I ask, can we please have a clarifying card about what this compassion is about? Because yes, compassion for who? Compassion for what? For ourselves, for another? You understand on some level that's all one thing. But in this particular case, for the sign of Cancer, sun, moon, rising, Venus, or Venus, on the path of true love for the month of July 2019. It's the Cancerian card. Namu, Mother of Cups, Cancer. I wish I had a mic so I could drop it, but unfortunately it's built into the camera. And it's not good to break your technology deliberately. Take a breath. If I was getting this reading, and if this resonated with me, I don't know if I'd need a drink, but I need to pop out for a cigarette for sure. Wow. All right. What does that say? That regardless of whether this is about you being compassionate with yourself or compassionate with another, that it's really the same thing, because I'll hold these up. Right, so we've got the Six of Cups at the beach. Let's do it this way. And we've got the Cancerian card, so it's the same ocean. You see that? I'm still getting used to these. So you see that? So my darlings, my darlings, my darlings, it doesn't matter whether you're having compassion for yourself or another, as you let your cup of compassion overflow for yourself. Oh, fill your cup to full and let it overflow and give only of the overflow. Self-care, and then flow it outwards. I'm telling you, if you've got any kind of magical practice of blessing, of Reiki, Schmakey, eggs and bakey, just sending love to yourself out and through you, that as you call through Mother Love, the Divine Mother, breathe that in and send it out. It has to go through you. That being a channel, it's not like being a tube where it just goes through you and doesn't touch you. It goes through every cell, every tissue, every organ, every system. They're saying every atom, every quark, every subatomic particle, right? Whew. and outward into the quantum field. It's how we infect the quantum field with blessings. My darlings, look, I'm going to pull some other cards here, obviously, because there's still that thing of compassion, but, you know, is there something specific to that? And since we got the Cancerian card on that, which also says that, you know, give it time, give it cycle. This is the moon. It will wax, it will wane, it will ebb, it will flow. But because we got this true love card here, how can I not? So what we're going to do is we're going to cross deck. I'm going to I'm going to ask the masters for elucidation on the information that her has given, particularly because these are so relationship based. So my masters, I feel you. Can you please give us one card to help clarify this compassion card, considering that we've got the Cancerian? You see the story. Here it is. Here it is. And what do we got? Mistake. Mistake. That to be compassionate about something that is perceived as a mistake. See, sometimes we can try to avoid things. And the thing is, if what we're avoiding is emotional in nature, it builds up and builds up and builds up. And electromagnetically, what the divine plan seems to do from where I sit is orchestrate situations within the quantum in order to free that energy from you, transform it from the lead to gold. So then our mistakes are really the crucible, aren't they? They're the things that we hold on to, our mistakes, our regrets, our guilt, our shame. So rather than get cards about each individual emotion that might be purging or ready to be purged in the month, it's about a mistake, because the mistake isn't really a mistake. It's a gift. Thank you. No, I know. This is emotional stuff. This is like real heart chakra, true lovey kind of stuff. But you're being prepared. If I got these cards for myself, I'd be like, oh, great, more emotional purification, but at least I know what I'm doing this weekend, right? Let it come up and out, because now, watch out, we're looking at true love. Okay, what you got for us on this one? My guides, my masters, my angels, my gods. Please, the Ascended Masters, can you give us a clarifier for something connected to this? Something about the path of true love here. No, something about the path of true love, so that our Cancer sun, no, one card, please, so that our Cancerian sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs get a little indication of what this is for the month of July 2019. Womp womp. I knew one was coming. The mistake card is definitely one too. This is problem. That there's a problem. But what do we know about problems? We've got mistake and problem here in our let's bring up this crazy trifecta, right? We've got the card of true love, we've got the card of mistake, and we've got the card of problem, right? So even though the card of mistake is really clarifying the tarot here, the daughters of the moon, what this is really saying is that there certainly seems to be an apparent problem in the path of true love, but there are no problems in the path of true love or on the path of true love. There are situations. Now, in the last video I did for Gemini, I said absolutely check out, particularly for every Gemini that draws breath, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And it really is Eckhart many, many years ago when Power of Now came out. Is that what I said before? Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now? Did I say Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now? It's been a long day. That he's one of the, in the present moment, there are no problems. There are situations. And then now they're tuning me, to probably another Hera archetype, Caroline Myss. I haven't talked about Myss yet in any of this, but I adore Caroline Myss. She's been a lifesaver for me, meaning that it's been her work that's pulled me back from the brink plenty of times and then backed up and jumped over that brink into my new life over and over and over again. There's a difference between a problem and a predicament. A problem has a solution, that's for sure. They're quantumly tied to each other. Every problem does have a solution. But a predicament has no solution. It has to be survived. It has to be learned through growth. The only way out is through with the predicament. And that means that it serves a purpose. So there is no predicament card in this deck per se, but I'm going to say that the mysterious element of this, that it's really not coming out and saying exactly what that problem is. I'm going to try and clarify it, but know that because this is the Queen, the Cancerian, right? Moody, shifty, but also incredibly mystical. The home, right? Let's not forget Cancerian is 4th house, the home. But that means the emotional home. It's not the house. It would be in, I guess, it would be 2nd house of Taurus. It was just about the literal house. This is about being comfortable in your own skin. So it's not just about the place you live, your address. So we're going to cross deck here. My gods, please, can you give us one card? Here she is. My Queen, if you could give us one card to clarify what this problem is. Are you ready? Aries. Considering that the moon is in Aries right now, I find that interesting. But as I'm tuning to this, that the problem is within the self. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac, the self. So a lot of this compassion, this emotional healing over these mistakes and this apparent perceived problem, the problem is there to make sure that you deal with this stuff, and chances are this has been repeating for a while. For some of you, that's absolutely true. They're going ding, 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 ding. Survey says ding. Really, I never tell people what to do. I make suggestions. I'm a guide. I'm a teacher, blah, blah, blah. But I will say with these cards on the table, if these are mine, I would say, turtle up, Cancer. Go into your, oh, ready? What do you mean by that, Mark? What do you mean it's all about me? Well, I mean, of course it's all about me. Everybody thinks it's all about them. Every sign of the zodiac tends towards that. But to really, really go within and self-care, self-love, self-compassion, that the only way out of this is through. And anybody who might be indicated, yes, we have 2 zodiac cards here. We've got the Cancerian card and the Aries card, which is weird because right now the sun is in Cancer, right? And the moon is in Aries. I'm not saying I'm shook. Actually, I'm kind of used to that stuff. I just didn't think that would be happening in this format. I think we're off to a pretty good start, kids. So Cancerian, just overview here. Take some time to yourself if you need to pull back. Honestly, I would hermit up if I could. I would spend some time, you know, solitary time perhaps, if possible. And just breathe into your own heart and just talk to whatever is in there, whatever comes up, like a mother to a child. It's an ongoing theme in my life. Inner child work. This is a bit more mystical than inner child work. Inner child work might very well be an extrapolation of a more psychological nature, you know, more the self-help stuff, where this is something mystical. This is about allowing the Divine Mother within you to love and heal that child. Although our work with that child is not to heal the child, it's to love the child. I tell that kid inside me all the time, honey, I'm not here to change you. I'm here to love you, but I'm here to guide you. And yes, it's okay that you're confused or upset or turbulent or feeling like you made a mistake, or perhaps with that Aries card here, that you think you're the problem, right? We got the Aries card, you think you're the problem. It's okay to feel that way in this circumstance. It's okay. Like when a little kid is afraid of, you know, they think there's a monster in the closet, right? And you know, it's just their clothes trying to murder them, right? That's a Judy Tenuta joke from the 80s. I'll never forget that joke. This is why I don't have children, why I have cats, and why they screw with me. There's my feline karma. So love that kid. And by the way, any time that I get this card, compassion, particularly with anything Cancerian. I like to warn Cancerians that, you know, the outflowing of compassion is lovely and gets applauded, but once it becomes truly selfless, you run the risk of your cup running dry and becoming bitter and resentful. So that's like swinging to one end of the pendulum. But and that's really like the passive narcissist side of it. Passive, it's like, oh, I just give it, and it turns into martyrdom. Where the opposite end of it is self-compassion, right? Taking care of the self, which is important, but if you get stuck there as well, it can become aggressive narcissism, where it's all about you, and everybody needs to take care of me, and that's no fun. So really, the thing is to ebb and flow, very much the Cancerian thing, ebb and flow, from selfish to selfless, selfish, selfless. And what I'm finding more and more, those two poles are beginning to become this third state, where I'm always self-caring, I'm always self-loving, I'm always refilling my cup so that the overflow never ends. In fact, the more I give away, the more I have. That's grace for you. I think that kind of covers it, don't you? Well, whatever this means for you, however this turns out, my crabs, Mr. and Mrs. Krabs, barnacles, a really blessed July 2019 to you on the path of true love. Go deep, do the work, worth it. But for now, I wish you all, really from the core of my soul to yours, hail, farewell, and blessed be.